Welcome to Vibrant Living Conversations. I'm your host, Gemma. I'm so excited to be bringing more conversations from North Idaho and across this region to support us all in glowing from the inside out by connecting more deeply to ourselves, our earth, and our communities. For today's interview, I am talking with Bob, owner with his wife and children of City Beach Organics in Sandpoint. Now, I've been visiting City Beach Organics for a few years and just love their fresh, creative food and smoothies, along with the lovely people and great vibe that the space has to offer. So I'm really excited to be able to connect with Bob today and talk more about their story, their passions, and their family behind this business. So welcome, Bob. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is fun. Looking forward.
No, my pleasure. So let's dive into your elevator description of City Beach Organics.
Oh, man. Well, really, it all started out with tortilla, which sounds innocent enough. But we used to own a small health food store, and we weren't serving any prepared foods. And what happened is my wife called me, and she didn't usually call me to tell me about a new recipe. But she called me and said, "Your girls are amazing. They finally made a gluten-free tortilla that actually is flexible and tastes good. And we're super excited for you to try it." And I was like, okay, cool. Because we had gluten intolerance that we've known about for probably a couple of years before that.
Okay.
And just periodically we'd play around with, hey, we love Mexican food. We don't like a lot of the gluten-free tortilla options that are out there. You know, they get really hard and crispy, or, you know, just hard to chew, whatever the issue is. So we thought, let's keep playing with making one.
Right.
So they finally did it, and we kept tweaking it a little bit, and we have continued to tweak it a little bit here and there over the years. But 2 weeks from that day, they, sorry, I just got a low battery signal. That's fun. Let's see. Low power mode. Try that. Let's see. If we lose power, I guess we'll plug in and keep going.
Okay.
Sorry about that. So yeah, 2 weeks from that day, I borrowed some money from my oldest daughter, and we bought a panini press and a 4-foot sandwich prep cart, and we had like 4 things on the menu. We started selling them out of the back of our little health food store there.
Nice.
It used to be kind of a storage area.
Okay.
And the neat thing that we found was, hey, these taste amazing, and we love them, but people really began to increase in their frequency of coming in and purchasing those. And our grocery business side of it wasn't really increasing,
Okay.
but the prepared foods were just constantly on a gradual upswing. And so we're like, wait a minute, I think we kind of struck a nerve here.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing to sell healthy organic food, but it's another thing when you actually prepare a meal for somebody.
Yeah.
And so that just kind of gave us a passion for doing what we're doing now. And we incorporated the juice bar side of it, that we had some friends that were doing that inside of our health food store that we had previously, and saw what a big hit that was. So our menu just kind of came together organically, you might say. And with really a focus on what are the allergies and preferences of our family, having 8 children.
Yeah.
We would go out to eat, and some places advertise organic, and you'd be like, well, the vegetables are organic, but the meat isn't, or the sauce isn't, or the bread isn't. And so some of the kids would always not be able to eat, and we'd have to come home and prepare additional food for them.
Yeah.
So it took the fun out of going out to eat, right? Like, hey, we stuff dishes and prepare for some of the family.
Yeah.
So that was kind of our start, was what are our requirements for the quality of food that we need, and then found that a lot of other people are enjoying that as well. And it's been really amazing. We've just gradually grown for the 4.5 years that we've been open.
Nice.
We haven't really had a slowdown, besides, of course, the COVID monster shutdown was the only time that we had a brief slowdown.
So was your grocery store in Sandpoint as well?
Nope, that was in Redding, California.
Oh, okay, nice.
that evolved in what it looked like, but it was essentially a organic produce delivery business, which eventually became that, in addition to a small natural food store. And then the organic gluten-free deli was added on to that. And they're actually still operating. That's called Country Organics. And friends of ours, Sam and Leah Fury, that were working for us, they purchased the business and are still operating it today. So yeah.
Nice. So when did you make the jump over to Sandpoint?
We moved to the area in February, will be 6 years ago.
Okay, nice, fabulous. And did you, when you moved to Sandpoint, is that when you opened City Beach Organics? Was that kind of a smooth, well, smooth as I'm sure starting a business can be, transition?
We had a vision for it. We knew that's what we wanted to do. We knew that I didn't want to do the typical go get a job, work for somebody else, even though I did end up doing that, but that worked into our story. So basically, as soon as we moved to the area, we were actively looking for a location of where we might do the business. And we checked out a few different spots and eventually found the place on First Avenue that we ended up renting. And one of the cool aspects of it, there was equipment for sale in the windows of the building. And the building owner had operated an organic restaurant for like 10 years and had, ceased to do that. But we got to talking about both the building and the equipment, and just over a series of months really of discussions, bought all of the equipment and then ended up signing a lease on the building. So yeah, it's right across from where you come out of City Beach, which helped bring about the name.
Nice. Okay.
Leaving City Beach, this is the easy directions for people. The only way out on Bridge Street there, you're literally driving right towards the building on First Avenue there. So it stands out as people are visiting the area and hungry, leaving the beach, and then come in and get a juice or smoothie or a salad.
Yeah,
one of our delicious melts. And
yeah,
it's all come together very nicely. Yeah.
So with your menu, you mentioned that your daughter was part of the tortilla process, but how was it? It started with a few items and now has evolved to so many smoothies and your baked goods and sandwiches. How has that evolved? And is there a mastermind in your family that likes to lead with the menu items, or is it just a collaborative effort?
It's a collaborative effort, but I think all of us are skilled in the kitchen to a different extent. Myself being one of the last ones in the line of skilled, but I get to sample a lot of items. I'd say, yeah, my wife, she's always enjoyed being in the kitchen, and because she has had the kids involved from an early age, emptying the dishwasher, helping, slice apples and spread, peanut butter or almond butter on, some celery or some toast, or just having them involved to whatever level they were capable of doing, rather than you go sit over there and play while mom does everything in the kitchen. Having them involved, and now they really all have a passion for being in the kitchen. And our oldest daughter Riley has come up with quite a few of the recipes.
Nice.
But definitely it's been a team effort, and yeah, I'm just blessed to be surrounded by a lot of good taste buds that know how to make things taste amazing.
No, for sure. I mean, for me, it's the creativity of your menu too. There's a lot of places that you can go that are using similar ingredients. And I mean, the fact that you've got is it the Coca Lala, your smoothie that's got like the mint and the cacao in it. And then some of your breakfast tortillas, or just tortillas, that have the curried and the pickled veg. And like, I believe in tasting the rainbow, eating the rainbow, and creativity. And I go into your place and it's like, there is the rainbow, and the creativity, and the tortillas are amazing. I rave to everyone about them. I'm not sure what your key is, but you should keep it under wraps because it's amazing.
Yeah, we'd like to wholesale them at some point. But I mean, really the blessing of it is that we have been, gradually increasing, and sometimes faster than we can almost keep up with, because we have a high standard, not just with our food, but with our staff, and really try to have, a very loving family environment with our team. And that it's any experience that you get from the front of the house when you come and order, or when we bring you your food, it's just as encouraging in the back of the house. We're not, back there arguing and, putting each other down, trying to
Yeah.
make life hard. We want the team to enjoy coming to work, even though it's often, challenging, a lot to do, but everybody working together and just developing relationships. And it's been really awesome. But I know that wasn't exactly answering your question, but as far as the food spectrum, I think it just became like, what do we like to eat?
Yeah.
That's how we started. What does our family enjoy? We like kind of the Asian, flair of the Asian wrap with the, Asian salad, putting grilled chicken on there, and, the curry melt with, like you said, we have house-made sauerkraut that we make several different varieties, and that can be found on some of our melts. And always is sad to me when people say, "Oh, no sauerkraut on mine, please." You're like, okay, that's fine. You're missing out. More for me, I guess. But one of our goals really was to try to meet people where they're at as far as their taste buds, because we didn't want healthy food to just be, I always use the example of like dehydrated, wheatgrass crackers or something, to where there might be a place for that for people that like them. We wanted, Joe Blow on the street, never had anything healthy, to come in and be able to find something that they would enjoy as well. And, everything's customizable. So if people want less sweetener in their matcha latte, we have the unsweetened version. You can choose, honey or whatever preferred sweetener you have. And just trying to keep it as clean as possible was really our mission, because it's easy to go out to eat, find somebody that knows how to cook, and you go, "Oh, that tasted pretty good," but you go home and, "Oh, what's that rumble in my tummy?"
Yeah,
I need to
right.
go to the restroom. It's
Yeah.
not going well.
Yeah.
Our feeling was we want people to leave energized and, fueled up, and just feeling good about what they put in themselves, and that's helping fuel the rest of their day. And they don't have to feel bad for what they had.
Enjoy it though, right? I mean, I think that's my goal, is when I go out to eat, I think there's this mentality that you go out to eat and it's a treat, so you're going to indulge. And then what you explained is what happens when you go home. And I'm like, that doesn't feel good to my body. That's not how I want to feel ever when I'm nourishing myself. So
Yep.
going to your place and having, I think you even mentioned there, it's a global inspiration, whether it's the Asian or the curry, or just the creative, colorful piece that just makes, for me, it makes me feel good in all senses of enjoying food, being in a nice environment, and then feeling great and nourished and energized after it. So I love it so much. I'm curious, how do you stay inspired? Is there, because there is that global essence, obviously coming from California, there's different influences over there than there is up here in North Idaho, but is there some way that your family stays inspired to try different recipes? Do you have a ton of cookbooks at home, or how does your family go about it?
It's, I guess, just preference. We do have a certain amount of cookbooks, but we used to love going out for Mexican food, and like I said, ran into the different digestive problems with various places. But just seeing some of the basic, I guess you could say, California, Tex-Mex, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
type we've always enjoyed. And so trying to take our version of those combinations. And so if we do go to another restaurant, there's a place called Raw in Ashland,
Okay.
and they've got a lot of good options. And we'll go there. Just even looking at the decor in other places, we're not afraid to borrow ideas from other people, and just go like, "Oh, that's really neat how they displayed that, because some of it, especially when you're talking about children, if you display something in a way that is appealing, they might be willing to try something that if you had asked them, hey, you want to have some, hummus and carrots, or you want to have some almond butter and honey and cinnamon and a tortilla, they might be like, what? But, just sprinkling a little cinnamon on top, or, drizzling something over the top of it.
Right.
Just serving it with a smile and be like, hey, I hope you like it. I mean, it all makes a difference.
No, for
And
sure.
so not really a particular place besides, I guess you'd say, we're foodies.
Yeah.
We're always evaluating. And if we do try something at a different place, we're talking about the texture and the size and the flavor. And wow, maybe they could have used less sugar, and still made it really good and not made me feel, nauseous or whatnot.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just really, I mean, and thankfully it started with, what does our family enjoy?
Yeah.
And then we've taken ideas from the customers as they've given feedback over the years.
Yeah.
And just incorporated those into what we're doing. And, we have different customers that come in, and we'll make custom melts or wraps or salads for them. And we put it up on the wall sometimes, because they'll start ordering the same thing that's off menu. And a different person will be there and they're like, I want the usual. You're like, what's the usual? We have one gentleman named Tim, we call it Tim style, make a Tim style melt. And we've got, the recipe up there on our board next to all the other items, and just different people get unique smoothies is a good example. And so we'll write those down and keep track of it so they don't have to repeat all the things.
I love
it.
Nice. And in your space too, you've got this sense of community with different crafts or different products from other places, I'm assuming, are in Sandpoint. But we talk a little bit about the Sandpoint community and just what that means to obviously your family to have those opportunities for different people in your space as well.
Yeah. I think when I think of really our customers and our community, I see kind of the fruition of what does it look like when a family comes in. And my favorite is the new moms, when they come in and they're talking about how their pregnancy is going, and then you see their new little one come along, and they start toddling around and talking and nourishing families. And you can feel good about it. If we owned a donut shop or something, we'd still put a lot of smiles on people's faces, but then we're watching kids expand in a way that, direction that isn't the healthiest. And so being able to feel good about what we're feeding, children and families and, babies that are still inside of mama, those are special, relationships, as well as, again, with our business model. Like, we can feel good at the end of the day. We have a busy day and go like, oh, we sold a lot of delicious, healthy, flavorful foods, right? It's not like we sold a lot of cigarettes, to go on the other end of the spectrum. And making a lot of money isn't the goal. It is doing something that we love and are passionate about. And at the end of the day, going like, oh, cool. And we can, provide the needs for our family and do it, something we feel, just blessed to be a part of, really. So
well, and I love that too, like changing the story, changing the narrative, that a treat doesn't have to be something that's unhealthy for you. Like, is it really a treat to your body if it's loaded in sugar and gluten and things that will cause inflammation? And like changing that narrative to like this delicious smoothie that's a beautiful color and has natural sweetener from dates or banana or whatever it is, like that is a treat in a whole, like, to me, of course, vibrant is my word, but vibrant way that it's like lighting your body up, not causing inflammation. That is the kind of treat that I want to share with my family, not the donut, So yeah, you provide that opportunity, which I just love. I think my next question, you mentioned a few things as far as getting your tortillas out there. what's your vision for this business into the future?
That is a great question. And I hate giving really any credit to COVID at all, because I have a lot of opinions about what's going on there. But unfortunately, a lot of the division that's happened because of it has caused a lot of casualties in the restaurant industry. I think we've had upwards of 5 or 6 all family-run restaurants that have closed down, mostly within the last 6 months or so. And that's been really sad. And so what we're trying to do is not succumb to the fear. And we have never put up plexiglass. We've never required masks of our customers or our staff. They, of course, have the option to do that if that's, their comfort level. But for us, it's just providing a sense of normalcy. I suppose what used to be normal.
Right.
Actually greeting people with a smile.
Yeah.
Rather than condemnation for them not wearing a mask or whatnot. Stickers all over the ground telling you where to stand. People can figure that out. If they're sick, they can keep their distance, or obviously stay home if they're pretty ill. But for us, seeing how culture is so quickly changed because of all things COVID, just trying to provide a loving environment for people to come in and just I guess I'll share an example. There was a lady from Portland, and she was out in the front of the building taking selfies and just texting her husband and saying how excited she was to come to a place with such delicious meal options, and not having all of the controls that a lot of communities are putting in place that have not been proven effective and have not mitigated this illness that's going around. But freedom and smiles and building up our immune system by staying hydrated and eating healthy, and all these things are what we're trying to encourage in our team members and in our customers. And so just providing a good place for people to come in and relax, take a deep breath, feel normal, eat healthy food, feel good after you eat, all these things that should be normal but are counter to what the culture is experiencing in so many ways.
Right. Yeah. Tapping into what's important, right? And the things that we can control, which is the environments we put ourselves in and how we nourish our bodies and build our immunity. I love that. Awesome. I keep going back to your menu, but I'm obsessed with it. I'm just wondering, are there a couple of your family's favorites? That's one question. And then even after a full day in the restaurant, is dinner time or breakfast, is food a constant part of your family's life?
Yeah, at least 3 times a day.
So yes.
We're always bringing things home from the restaurant, trying new things, checking the quality. And it's a blessing. I wouldn't say a curse, but it can be a challenge where we might be bringing the tortillas home and making some breakfast wraps the next morning at the house. And then my wife, who doesn't work at the restaurant a lot, she's homeschooling and doing a lot of the administration side of it. She'll say, "Oh, these tortillas don't taste like they have any salt in them." And then it becomes like, "Oh no, do we need to call, the team at the restaurant that day and ask them to try the tortillas and make sure that batch got salt in it?" Instead of just being able to relax and enjoy breakfast, right? Oh no, did we have a quality control issue? Somebody forgot to add an ingredient to something. So there's that side of it, of being a restaurant owner who likes eating the food that is produced there. Also, we get to enjoy the fruits of, what we do. And, if we make a nice batch of soup, we can bring some of that home for dinner and not have to prepare a second meal at home. And, now we have 4 of our children out of the 8 that work at the restaurant either full or part-time.
That's
And
awesome.
so that's been really special.
Okay. What's the array of age on your children?
Our oldest just turned 23,
Okay.
and the youngest is 19 months. So
Fun. Aw.
Fred, he's not helping at the restaurant yet. But
Hey, that's when you start, right? You strap them in, you have them like stir.
no, one of the cool things, I also am a grandparent now. My son and daughter-in-law, they have a little boy, and it's really cool because he's 5 weeks younger than our youngest son, who is, of course, an uncle then. So they're little buddies, but she wanted to help out as he got to be a little older, and obviously getting into things that wasn't going to be an option in a commercial kitchen.
Right.
But she likes coming in early and doing the baking. So I literally called the health department. I said, hey, we got my daughter-in-law. She's got a little guy. Can she put him in the baby backpack as long as he can't, obviously reach the food? And they said, oh, yeah, that sounds great.
Nice.
And I was really surprised because I was waiting for them to be like, oh, you can't have a baby in the kitchen. So it's very much a family business. And she loves coming in and be able to, provide some extra income for their family, and makes delicious scones and muffins and helps make our tortillas and just do other prep work. But she's definitely expanded our baked good options, whereas we used to have the brownie bites and like one muffin variety.
Right.
And now a lot of times we'll have the scones, a couple different muffins, and of course still the brownie bites. Don't worry, they're not going away.
Okay.
And she just started making a chocolate chip cookie. And all of these, might sound simple enough, but for those of you who've tried gluten-free baking, it's not always easy to make it stay together, make the texture right, make the flavor right, all these things. And so she does a great job with that. So give Ed a shout out. She's done a great job with our baked goods.
Nice. Do you know if is there one flour that she likes to stick to? I know with my gluten-free baking, there's so many gluten-free flours and they all work in varying capacities. Do you know if there's one that she works with, or does she experiment?
Oh, shoot, you'd have to ask her.
Okay.
I think primarily rice flour, and I think she uses some oat flour sometimes.
Nice.
But as far as the blends, I actually have not probed too deeply. I just
They taste good.
Yeah, texture's good, flavor's good. It's organic, it's gluten-free, passes my test. But yeah, she's definitely experimented, in particular with the scones, because those can end up being quite dry, which sometimes is how you want a scone, but you don't want it too dry. So she recently did a pumpkin spice scone as we came into fall, and that turned out really well with the pumpkin being in there, adding a lot of additional moisture, and was a big hit. So just things like that, as you incorporate, different ingredients that help get it to be the flavor and the texture that you want. So you're not stuck with, oh, well, this flour always makes it turn out this way. You put squash, you put, zucchini, different things into, muffins and whatnot, and really helps the texture and flavor.
Awesome. I love it. Well, I'm curious. You have a big family. What is the magic? What tips do you have for us with smaller families or growing families to keeping everyone, happy? I don't want to say that, but keeping everyone smile and healthy and keeping things flowing in such a big family. Lots of personality, I'm sure.
Excuse me. That was a really good question. I guess really just thankful to our creator. We worship the God of the universe. Some people try to pretend there isn't a God, but that's a little ignorant when you look at the beautiful details of all that he has made. Right. And so we just thank Yahweh as our creator that he gave us his word, and that shows us a lot about how we can be good parents and just loving friends and, good, parts of our community just by loving him and loving the people around us. And so that's something that we try to just be authentic, with not just when we're in front of a customer at the restaurant. And like I mentioned earlier about how it can look different. At some restaurants, when you're out front, you're being all nicey, and then you go in the back and why isn't this dish ready yet? Why is this not? What's going on? What are you guys doing back here? It's not that way. And that's one of my goals as a person, is just being authentic and congruent to where I'm being the same person, whether I'm, alone with a friend or just with my wife or my wife and the kids. I'm not yelling at them and then going and being nice to customers, trying to, just be kind and loving to people all the time. And of course, like anybody, I mess up in that area, and we struggle as a family with, doing the wrong thing. And then you got to apologize and make up and give hugs and move on, just learn and grow. Right.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But really it's the love factor, of just being there for each other and helping each other grow and move on. And my kids are amazing. I mean, they're just such a great example, to me and to my wife. And, people say, oh, you have such great kids. And it's like, I'm not going to argue that point. I agree, but I can't take all the credit, nor can my wife. It's like a gardener. You plant the seed, you water, you fertilize, but you can never say, look at this tomato that I made, right?
Right.
You just help the process along.
Yes, for sure.
But, so we kind of plant a seed and then feel like, the Father really brings about that growth.
I love it. The theme, and yes, watching the little personalities as you water and support. But just even with my 1-2-year-old, I'm like, it's just so fun. And each little chapter as they get older is just fun to watch how they grow into themselves, right?
Yeah, I like to tell people, when they say, oh, how many kids do you have? And I say, just 8. And I've been saying that since we've had, 5 or 6, because it's fun to watch their face and see, the shock factor. But there's not 8 kids in diapers, right?
Right.
It's 8 kids that we now have, more of them that are contributing more than they're requiring of us. So I call it a lot of firepower, because they're running a restaurant, they're helping run our household, they're helping school one another, they're serving friends, they're being part of the community in a variety of ways. And so yes, it's a lot of work, but it's actually easier now than when we just had 1 or 2 children, because it's not my wife and I trying to do everything for them.
Yeah.
We have, whose dish day is it? Whose breakfast day is it? Who's going to help with dinner?
Yeah.
It's frees my wife and I up to do things that we have to do, while the kids get opportunities to serve their family and, develop skills. And thankfully, they've all desired to work at the restaurant so far, all of them that are, old enough to. And that's been really special, as some of them have other goals and aspirations, and that's really great too. We want them to try things and not feel like they have to work in the family business, right?
Right.
But as they are passionate about it and want to, then we're stoked on that and love having them around. So
yeah, I love that. Oh, fun. So fun. And that's good perspective. Yes. It's not like you've got a 8-2-year-old. Couldn't do that.
Bad.
But so fun. Oh, well, this is fun. Before I move into how people find you, was there anything else that you wanted to add about your business or vision, or anything you'd like to share?
I don't know. Not necessarily. I mean, I like to talk, and you're doing a great job with all the questions. I think maybe for people that think that eating healthy is a sacrifice of flavor, I think it's actually quite the opposite. For people that haven't really tried a lot of organic foods,
Right.
Starting with just the produce in general, the salad literally tastes better when it's grown organically. The nutrient levels are higher, but just the flavor profile in general of an organic, locally grown carrot, or organic celery. Celery actually has flavor. It's not just crunchy.
Yeah.
So give it a try. ask us for a recommendation that you've never eaten organic before.
Right.
Oh, hey, what do you recommend I try? And we can point you in the right direction based on if somebody's a hardcore green juice person versus needing a little more natural sweetness. We have, I think, a menu and just a whole variety of food items that we can, tailor to people's desires, what's going to work for their palate.
Yeah. Well, and I think you're so great. That's a really good point, putting so much flavor and spice and herbs, which are a whole nother level of medicine, right? But makes that healthy food also just really vibrantly tasting, and you want to eat it and can enjoy it. It's not bland by any means. It's quite the opposite. So well said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people, you're open Sunday through Friday, right?
Yes, we are pretty much sticking with these hours year round, barring a massive amount of awesome people that want to work for us. We've got a great team, but like everybody, it's been a little hard to get as much staffing as we would desire. But yeah, right now we're open on Sunday from 9 to 6, and then Monday through Friday from 7 until 6.
Nice.
And trying to hold that year round, like I said, with a few exceptions here and there around, different holidays and whatnot.
Nice.
But yeah, it's nice to have a
Perfect.
schedule, whereas that used to try to be open later, and that was just a little much again on the family, trying to find life balance so we're not getting home at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I love that. You need some healthy meal and relaxation time before starting all over again. I love it. And then your website is citybeachorganics.com if people want to check out your menu. I honestly look at your menu just for inspiration. I'm like, what flavor combinations am I, there's the cookbooks, and then there's my favorite restaurants that I'm like, what's on their menu that I can make at home, because I don't have time to drive to Sandpoint right now. So I recommend people check out that. And then you're also on social media at City Beach Organics as well, which I believe, does your son run your social media?
We have had different friends help us with it. And so, yeah, it's kind of a collaborative effort, announcing specials and, schedule changes and whatnot. So, yeah, we have a friend, Jess Kimball, that is a local social media mastermind that helps us out and helps other local businesses. And, but yeah, several of the kids and my wife, they all kind of pitch in with it. So.
Nice, fun, fabulous. Well, I always like to end with a question. In the realm of vibrant living, are there a couple of local businesses or people that really inspire your family in Sandpoint or the area in general?
Oh man, I think it's hard because it's been a journey. So when I say we've been open for 4.5 years, the journey to get where we are has actually been since we started eating healthy and organic, and just having different friends before, or I should say as organic was becoming more popular. And we had some friends that used to kind of be that hippie type thing from Santa Cruz, California, and just grew up kind of doing the organic thing before other areas were really into it. And they introduced us to eating healthier. And that, as our diet evolved and we started, just changing what we were eating and making more things from scratch, I think that inspired us to want to do the restaurant, because again, we kind of surpassed what restaurants were offering as far as what we needed and wanted. So yeah, I mean, I guess really our customers, if you talk about inspiration for vibrant living, because they've been so awesome to us. They've come in, just so thankful that we're there, and saying things like Sandpoint needed this. We just love having you here and don't know what we'd do without you. And we're in the middle of a remodel, which we're now back, fully open with a little bit of construction still happening, but we were closed for about 2 weeks because of it, and some people didn't know what to do with themselves. Like, please open up.
So flattering.
Struggling here. Yeah, and so as we were there doing some of the work and just people walking by, excited to come in for a meal, and watching their sadness, when they weren't able to come in, but seeing how grateful they are as we've reopened and got back into the normal swing of things. And it's been an honor, because I tell people all the time, even if it wasn't my wife and I and our family owning the business, it'd still be my favorite restaurant, to come in and be a customer, because I've, a few times have I found anything that's as clean as what we're offering.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
Just served with the same enthusiasm. And I love our team. They inspire me. I love our customers. They inspire me. And just our community has been, really good to us. So we're thankful.
Yeah, no, I think you definitely have a unique and beautiful experience, and tasty, and it feels family oriented. So yes, I'm super thankful that you are up there in Sandpoint, ready for me to come visit whenever I get to come up there. So thank you so much again for joining me today, Bob. This has been a true pleasure.